And I am Gato. Or engaged. Committed relationship. Yeah, actually, it's one of the questions that I've had. I mean, always. I think ever since we start thinking about marriage as younger people, I don't think we think of timing, like how time will be distributed. Um, and as I've grown older, it is one of the things that uh, I think about. I'm like, okay, so now we don't have to drive to each other's places anymore because we'll be living together. And so it's kind of like that should make things easier, right? Like less time spending planning out things and driving to each other places, but at the same time, is like, what do we do once we're together, like here? And do I still have time to do my own things and play video games or watch a movie that maybe she doesn't want to watch? Or will that timing and hobbies and that time distribution will that change as we start to live together? So those are some of the questions that I've had, and I think you might be a good example of what to expect in the future.
Yeah, I have some ideas. We have our own system.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just preface, there's gonna be a lot of things you're not gonna be doing anymore.
Okay.
And then for good reason, because a lot of the stuff I did were just, like a solo activity, playing games or kind of doing stuff. So there will be a change, but if you talk about it and kind of set your own stuff, then you won't run into that issue. Um, like for us, every Wednesday, I mean, now I have this podcast that we do Wednesday, and then I fit. That used to be just strictly gaming, like because I need that kind of time,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like
Absolutely.
bluff steam or whatever. And so I'm not trying to fit all these activities in one day. So, but it seems to be working so far.
Yeah. So and that's the thing is like so my hobbies have changed a lot throughout the years. I think well in general I think most of them have changed. If there's two consistent ones would probably be like movies and gym.
Yeah.
So going to the gym is where that's where I de-stress. That's where I like let it all out kind of thing. So the gym's been uh more of a what do you call it? Like my namaste time. Like it's my personal time kind of thing. Although I don't mind sharing it because I
Right.
actually really like it when she goes to the gym with me or when we work out together. Um but if let's say that she starts going to the gym with me like every single day, right? That I go, then that is no longer like me time. It's still share time.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Or do you see that as like no, it's still your time. She's just with you.
I would say and that's the beauty of when you're married, you have that shared me time. So
Hmm.
I would say it's still you because you're going to the gym and then you're still doing what you need to do. If you still want to do deadlifts or whatever routine you have, then you can do your thing. She can do her thing. But I kind of did that in the beginning, but then I didn't like for me personally, I didn't like just being separated when we went to the gym.
Hmm.
So then
I
we
agree.
went, I mean, this one gym has like a routine all set up in one circle for you, and you just move every like 2 minutes or whatever. So at least you're still in the same proximity, but you're still doing,
Yeah, you're
you're not,
still doing you.
yeah.
And then and along with that, so movies is something that her and I share. Like we love watching movies, TV shows, all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that even as a single man back in the day, it's something that I would look forward to. It's like, oh, I can't wait till I have a girlfriend. I can take her to the movies and watch shows together and talk about it, yada yada yada. So, sports used to be a hobby of mine. I think I dropped them
Like watching sports or playing sports?
both.
Oh wow.
So I used to watch a lot of sport. Well, shouldn't say a lot, but I was really into like watching soccer.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of the Mexican League, and for some time I got into the MLS here in the US. I even kind of started diving into like European soccer a little bit, but that didn't last very long because I don't know. It was too much time consuming, or I spent too much time watching the soccer games. And I was like, I can't. I have other things to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I've slowly stopped watching sports. Um, I used to be a big, basketball fan, and then I stopped that. I went into like football for a second, but I kind of like also stopped doing that. Like I still enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I still enjoy
Right.
it, and I'll still watch it when I can. It's just not something I have the luxury of saying like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go spend 3 hours watching this game. I'd rather spend the time doing something else. Um, I used to play a lot of soccer after school. I would do indoor soccer, and that was like every Monday night or every Wednesday night. Or sometimes I even had like two teams. I would go and do that, and now I don't do that anymore. So again, my hobbies just kind of like keep changing. And recently, uh, I kind of slowly started getting back into gaming because gaming was something that I used to do like all the time. Like it was like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I would play for like 5 hours. Okay, maybe not that much, but still a lot. Um, and recently I just picked up my Switch, started playing Zelda.
Does she enjoy the Switch too?
She plays. Well, we played Mario Kart one time,
How'd
and
she
we
like that?
played. She likes it, but I beat her at it. And
You know you're
then
supposed to let her win, right?
I know it's hard. It's hard
It's
to not
hard
get
to lose.
no. It's hard to not get competitive, you know.
Oh no, I
Uh,
agree. I agree. There's
and
there has to be some competitive games out there.
yeah, well, and we did Just Dance as well. Just Dance was
I
super
saw
fun,
that. I remember seeing
and
that.
we keep wanting to play more, but we don't. So maybe we should. I'll maybe on Saturday I'll be like, yo, surprise, we're gonna Just
Date
Dance.
night.
Except she's probably watching this. It's not a
Well,
surprise
that's a
anymore.
surprise. I think for in terms of gaming, I mean, my gaming has changed. I have usually one or two games now, just to focus on it because, back when you're single, you have so many choices, and so much time to play. And I think the last game that we played, as in we, was The Last of Us 2. And so it was
Ooh.
good. We would exchange the controller once in a while, and then it just got to the point where I just kept playing because the story was so compelling, and that's
Yeah.
like the beauty of that game was that it was very like it was like watching a movie, and so those type of games I'm like steering towards now. So it's like a shared experience rather than like shooters. That's a very like one person type of
Right.
game.
So she likes playing video games with you then.
She likes to play. There were some games that we like to play, like Overcooked, so co-op games. We like to play a lot of co-op games.
Overcooked's such a fun game.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So that there was a time where we played that a lot. Then we played Minecraft a lot. Then because it was fun to like build
Nice.
stuff together.
No,
You're still,
it is a fun game. I
yeah,
freaking love Minecraft. It's just funny.
I know, right? And it's weird because my taste in games have like changed. It's like I want to, because of the fact that you can co-op, play together. That's the ones that I'm aiming for now.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the reasons why we really liked Just Dance is because we're just dancing together, but we're dancing to pop music, stuff like that. Uh, there is a video game that's gonna come out later on
Yeah.
that I'm looking forward to, like have her play it
Yeah.
because she's really into it. She's into Harry Potter. and Harry Potter's
Oh, is
having,
that the online one?
yeah, they're having that open world game, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this could be a fun game. And like, I'm not saying that I want her to be like she doesn't have to like it, but I think it's something that she might enjoy. And if she does, then it's something that we can also enjoy together.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like a shared hobby as well. Uh,
I wish split screen games would come back.
for us.
Like it's
Well,
weird. I feel like there's a whole there's a shift now where people want split games, split
yeah,
screen games now.
yeah.
Now that we're all grown up and everybody's like married now and they want to play with their wives and
But is it? Do you think it's really? How do I phrase this question? Because like that's something that I want as well. Like I look at split screen and I'm like, yeah, like remember GoldenEye,
oh yeah.
back in the day, Nintendo 64. Like that was the game to play, and Smash Brothers. But nowadays, like we kind of want that back. Like we hear like all these new games coming out saying online only,
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody like gets upset. So I'm like, so going back to split screen, is that just nostalgia, or is that really something that we do want, or do we
That's
just
true.
want the option of it?
I think it's a niche because I think a lot of people, if they do want to play together, they usually have two sets of consoles and then just put two TVs together.
It's just so much money.
I know.
If I want to have a gaming hobby with my future wife, then we have to buy two TVs, two Xboxes, multiple controllers. It's one of the
Oh
things
man.
I like about the Switch is
This
like
yeah.
you can still do multiplayer. But
Do they have Splatoon? Well, I guess there's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of local multiplayer games are more like versing each other rather than like co-op games. I don't know. Is there a lot on Switch?
uh, I don't know.
That's what I'm not thinking.
Because
Cause
that's the thing is like I'm just barely getting back into it, so I haven't really kept up with a lot of the games. Like even yeah, so Smash Brothers.
yeah.
I played it for a little bit uh, when I had a roommate that had the game, and so we would get parties and we would play it. And then he moved out, and I stopped gaming anyway. And me, not even a year ago or so, like, I found out that Amber's brothers like play that game and stuff like that. I was like,
Oh,
okay, well,
that's great.
let's get together, let's
Yeah.
play. They are younger; they're like 21 and 25, 24, I think. So they're on the younger side. Um, but they schooled me. Like I had no chance. And I felt a little out of touch. And I was just like, man, like I really have been off games for a long time because I feel like I was at least decent at it for a long time. Um, so yeah, that's it's just weird going back into it and trying to pick up a hobby that you used to be good at and now you kind of suck at it. And now I'm falling into that like, oh, I'm just an old man in
Old
my
man.
30s trying to play video games, trying to be cool.
No, I feel like games nowadays are just so Twitch. You got to be so fast or whatever.
Yeah, man.
We are,
All
or we're
the
just getting old. Maybe, probably getting old.
I I think it's both,
Yeah.
honestly. But like all the new games like what's it called? The Fortnite. So I tried playing
Oh
Fortnite
man.
a couple of times, but there's just so much going on. Like there's all these different colors and all these different things
You got to build.
and and it's such a fast-paced
Yeah.
move. And one of the things I didn't like about it is that I'm jumping in as a new guy. And this was like when Fortnite was actually still relatively new. Like it was maybe a month into it or less.
Right.
Um and people are just savages, man. Like they do not care if like
No,
they will not
they're
teach us like you have to learn fast and you have to know everything fast. And if you don't, then you get cyberbullied.
no. And that's part of the issue with like when you're an adult, you're married, you have kids, you don't have time to like get better at a game.
Yeah,
So, and I think I would consider myself in the casual gamer category where
absolutely.
I'm not like super expert. And so I think when they have these people that are like, oh, pay to win type stuff and get the upgrades, I can see why they have that because there's people out there that don't have time to grind to get gear or whatever, and they just want to play a game, you know. And so if you can pay for it, then yeah, I'm sure some people will hate me for saying that, but um, time is so valuable when
It is.
when you become married and you have all these hobbies. Time is so valuable.
That's time has become even more valuable. Like even me is not being yet married.
Right.
Uh, time has been like a big thing for me for the last like couple of years or so. Like I've been super conscious of it, and like even to even to about 6 months ago, like uh, my roommate, I think my roommate called me a workaholic because I was technically doing three jobs. You
Yee.
know, I was working my full time job, and I was doing my editing job, which is part time, and then I was doing a photo
Right.
editing job.
Yeah.
And then I tried taking photography as well. So I was trying to take pictures, edit the pictures, give them the pictures, do my own commercials, stuff like that, edit the commercials, send them over, edit thumbnails for a YouTuber, editing videos for a different YouTuber, and then I had my full time job as an optician. So I'm doing all these things, right? And but my mentality is like time is just so valuable. I'm like, if I'm not if I'm not doing something productive, then I'm wasting time. And I think it got a little too vicious for me that I had to like start slowing down little by little.
Right.
But time is just it's such a
You can't get it back. You can't buy more time.
yeah,
You can't.
it's but it's such a fine line between wasting time and using it productively.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of like going back to when I get married is like how do we make sure that we're taking advantage of our time? So we don't have to spend so it takes me 30 minutes to drive to her house, 30 minutes to drive back. So that's an hour
Yee.
basically of driving time a day. So we get that back. Um, but then what do we do with that time? You know, like, does that mean that I get a time like an extra hour of hubby time? Like, not hobby, sorry, of hobby time? Like, do I get to play games for an extra hour? Do I get to go to the gym for an extra hour, or is it an hour that I need to spend with her? Like, how do you uh, find that balance in your marriage?
I think for me in the beginning it was tough, and I think on the previous podcast I talked about it where it was a hard adjustment because I was so used to doing my own thing for that time, like at after work coming home and then just having all this free time to play whatever, and now it's more of a like you said, a challenge to balance it out. And so I think for that system we made, every Wednesday night, we have our own thing to do, our own me time. But now that we have a child, it's Tuesday she has her thing, and then Wednesday I have my thing, and we could take turns watching our son. But uh, that's worked for me because I feel like, and this could be just me, where uh, if we're not doing anything, and then I feel like playing a game, you're just like you, you just don't want to at the same time because you don't want to the feeling of like, oh, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and you're just gonna sit there and watch me play games, and you know, uh, and so at least with this system, you're just like, you have this designated time. You don't have to worry about feeling like, oh shoot, I should be spending time with my wife, or I should be helping her out do stuff. But at least now you have this designated time. There's pretty much like guilt free. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. It's just like, I guess personally for me, I have like that sense of like, oh, I should be doing something productive. But in marriage, you still need that me time. You still need that friend time. You still need, you know, I'm a big, I really, we both believe in spending time with friends, even when you're married.
Do you do you have your own sets of friends that you hang out with separately, or do you just plan like double dates and stuff like that?
Um, and that's kind of what I'm doing with you, actually, to be honest. Like when we went to the Halloween thing, and that restaurant I'm telling you about, it's like I'm trying to like experiment with that kind of, because I think it's important to have couple friends. When you're
Yeah.
married, you're gonna realize you're gonna want
No,
couple
it's
friends.
already become uh clear that having couples friends, it's sometimes it's a little bit easier to do things.
Yeah.
Uh, like certain activities just seem to make more sense, than just having like a lot of, single friends.
Yeah.
And
Because
then,
it because then you worry about like, oh shoot, are we are we like rubbing in their faces that they're single or whatever, it's just kind of like a you just
are
kind of
we?
like watch yourself. It's
Yeah,
hard
is
to.
it? Is there a lot of PDA going on
I
here?
know, right? You're like, are you showing too much or whatever? At least
Yeah,
with other couple friends, you're in that same playing field.
yeah, no, and I think that's been a little hard because, I mean, Amber and I got into our relationship right before a pandemic started, and so
Mm.
for the majority of our relationship, we've been on, lockdown, um, and so we don't really get to see like people that often. Like it's very selective when we hang out with people,
Yeah.
and and I think, well, I don't think, I feel like once like life starts to go back into normal or normality, normalcy,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, I wonder if we're gonna be out of touch with like socializing
I feel like
with
I
people
am.
in general, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, so what we've been doing, is that okay? Is that still okay to do, or do we need to watch like how we act?
Do I still
Are
need to
we
put
even
on a
are we
mask?
are we even gonna think about it? Like, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just it's an odd feeling, but I mean, I'm a firm believer that if we were able to make it past that time, we can only go up from here.
Yeah. We have a question from Lance. It's for both of us. What's the best way to manage your time?
So, okay, as an engaged person, who I still have my own place, and Amber still has her own place. Like we do a lot of planning. Like, well, obviously we plan when we're gonna hang out. Uh, Not so strictly because we just kind of see each other anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I do plan an hour or two here or there where I'm like, I need this time to not do anything. And by saying to not do anything, I don't mean to like literally just like lay down and not do anything. Uh, it's more of like I need to set time aside to be able to do whatever I want. So if I want to spend more time cooking, like a dinner meal, then I will put that time aside for it. If I want to be able to maybe watch a movie that I know that she won't enjoy, or if I want to play games, then I have to set that time aside. And so I have to plan ahead for that, and I try to do it on a weekly basis. Um, but whatever I plan, I always have a backup plan. So there's always a
Wow.
plan B.
Hmm.
So if anything fails on the A plan, then I have something to back it up. And if that fails, then I plan for that nothing time, if that makes sense. So there's always something to do, even if that something to do is nothing to do.
That
Does
no,
that make
that
sense?
makes sense. Yeah,
Does
no,
that make sense?
it's a
Um,
pretty good system.
like I said, I try to be productive. I don't have like a schedule for like today's laundry day or today's cooking day or today's date day. It's not like that. Like we just plan it and we just try to keep a balance on that, when it comes to like her and me as not living together, and then me personally. Um, but I know that it's gonna change once I get married, and that's when I'm like, okay, how are we gonna adjust to that? And I'm confident that we'll figure it out. I know that we're gonna be okay with it, but it's still it's still something that I have to process like more often than not nowadays
Yeah.
because we're so close to the wedding. So
Oh man,
that's how I manage my time. I try to have two plans and then a nothing plan.
that's a pretty good system. We don't even do backup plans. The thing that we love to use is Google Calendar. The fact that you can share calendar events makes things so much easier because now we have certain blocks for certain things, and then a color coded. If it's Sunday, you have it green, and then you have family events being red, and then orange for like friends and date nights or whatever. And that's really helped us because now you can get reminders on your phone. It's pretty useful. But most of the time, for me personally, I'm a routine guy. So the fact that we have a routine, Mondays we do this, Wednesdays we have our me time, and Sunday we do a check-in. So we sit down, and then we have a list of prepared questions that we ask each other. It's like, how are we doing? What can we improve on, and stuff like that. And that's helped. And during that check-in process, we figure out the schedule for the week. So it's a little, that might be a little too much for some people, where it's like very like document oriented. But for me, it's helped because now I know what's ahead. Yeah. Do you have something?
Yeah, no, it's just funny because I think Amber is gonna really like that, and I think that's probably why I think about it a lot, is because, like, even though I have a plan A, plan B,
Yeah.
I'm very kind of like up on the go. If that makes sense. Like, I'm very spontaneous.
Yeah.
Like I have my plans and everything, but if something comes up, then I'm always happy to rearrange things if I'm able to. Um, I don't know. It's like it's such a what's it called? Case on case basis.
Yeah, it's case by case basis.
Yeah, case by case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but like seriously, sometimes I'm like, okay, like this time is gonna be um what's a good example? I'm just gonna this is a generic example, but let's say that I really want to go eat, right? Like this time is set aside to go to a new restaurant. But within that plan, it's like, well, I'm craving Mexican food. But let's say that we go to the Mexican food place and it's like closed. It's really easy for me to just be like, well, then I can just go down the street and eat Chinese food or go get sushi.
That's
like
good.
I'm very open to, well, if this doesn't work, then something else will occur. Um, but also, if somebody like a friend of mine is like, hey, let's hang out, but I can only hang out right now, then I could just be like, okay, yeah, sure, let's hang out now, and then I'll just eat later. So I'll switch the plans around, right? Because even if both of those plans fail, I still have that backup plan.
That's good. No, yeah. I think that helps you, because if plan A fails, you don't even have to think about it. Plan B, right?
Yeah. But in a sense, I feel like it's not as organized as it should be or it could be. And that when it comes to like a routine lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to compromise a little bit and just kind of like fall into a bit of a routine. And so it's funny because now I'm going to have to plan for chaotic time. So like within the plans, within our set days to do things, I'm going to have a set day or a set time to just be like, okay, from this time to this time, this is when I get to do my dinner, but I can always change it, or I can just go to Home Depot. Does that make sense? I know it's like very complex and I don't know how my brain is working right now, but it makes sense.
That's how I think I would say that's how it was for me before.
And I know that I'll probably have to adjust to more of a routine lifestyle.
I feel like for me, because now we have routine, it's not, I feel like life is more predictable, and I like that. I don't like variations because then I get stressed. So
that's
like
what I live on. That's what I live on. It's like throw me a curveball. That's what makes me strive, is like unexpected things. I mean, within reason, but
right.
I like unexpected things to happen in a way.
I think it's important. You still want spontaneous, because you don't want life to be boring and it's just like the same thing over. So I think for me personally, I like routine and then sprinkle some spontaneity. Spontaneity.
Spontaneity.
Because there was before we had our son, we would do a morning walk. We just walk around the neighborhood, and it came to a point where it was okay to just wake up at the time and get up and get ready and then go. I think if it was not set and it was like, oh, do we feel like going or not feel like going, then you don't go and then you feel guilty the rest of the day and that just messes with your brain. But at least now you're just like, okay, morning walk, okay, done. You feel productive because you've done something and you haven't wasted time thinking about whether you want to do it or not or all that stuff, and it just feels like you've squeezed of that deciding time into like a very small time and you've done it. You know, does that make
So
sense?
yeah, I think.
So at least if you want to be productive, you schedule the productive stuff so that way you can have that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like taking a walk or eating dinner even, because now it's weird because my dinner was always like 6 or 7, and then now it's at 4:30. We eat dinner at 4:30.
Well, that's I've been eating dinner at like 2:30 or 3.
2:30?
Yeah, but so
Do you still eat
yeah.
breakfast, right?
Yeah. So, um, meals in Mexico, you started with the breakfast,
Yeah.
like early morning. Um, but then what we call dinner here, like the heavy meal, you usually eat it at like 2:30, 3,
What?
maybe up until like 4 p.m. That's when you eat dinner. Because like I remember would wake up, eat breakfast, go to school, have a like a lunch or a snack, and then we get out of school at like 2 p.m., 2:15. We would go home, and then by 3 p.m. we have dinner, right?
Right after
Like,
school?
yeah, and so that's when
Dang.
we would eat our heavy meal then,
Hmm.
and then you do whatever you have to do, and then we would have like a technically dinner.
Real dinner?
Uh,
Second dinner?
sort of, that's, yeah, kind of. So we would eat at like, I don't know, it's like 7:30 to 8:30 ish, but it's a light meal, so it was normal to have cereal again, or to have just something not as heavy as the middle day meal.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
and so when my family and I moved back here to Utah, uh, eating at like 6 p.m., I was like starving.
Oh, I bet.
And
I
and I
bet.
was like, why are we eating like so late? Like this is weird. And then I just didn't want to eat dinner, or like the second dinner, whatever you want to call it. And so it's really weird. And so whatever, I adjusted to it. And like nowadays, like with all the like nutrition stuff that I've been learning, I know that for my body, what works best is to have a heavier meal earlier in the day, and then not a heavy meal later at night. So
Mm.
for the last few weeks, I've been eating my heavy meals earlier in the day, unless I'm having like dinner with friends or going out uh, to do something. Then I'll switch it around. You know, it comes back into like those plans. I'm like, I always plan to eat my heavy meal earlier, but if something is going on that day, then I'm happy to switch it around so that
Okay.
I won't eat anything heavy throughout the day until the end of the night. So
Flexibility is good. That's good.
so uh yeah, so I eat my heavy meal early in the day.
Hmm.
And that way I sleep better, I feel better in the morning, and I don't get as bloated. And yes, we men past our 30s, we get bloated.
I call it the Ben Affleck effect.
Why?
You see what happened? I don't know. There's when you get older, these just come out more. Your jaw. If you compare photos of like Ben Affleck when he was younger, it's like very thin, and then the Ben Affleck effect, you just go like that. And you see it with
Dude,
other actors too. I just see
dude,
it.
you see it with every. I was looking at a picture of me from 20 years
Yeah,
ago. I actually sent that to Amber right before the podcast.
yeah.
And my goodness, yeah, my jaw is just like,
See, Ben Affleck
so
effect. I'm telling
yeah.
you.
But I looked really weird back in the day. I feel like I look better now.
I feel like I look better now too. I
Yeah, yeah,
might
you do.
thanks. When I started deadlifts, like before, my shoulders were just like thin, like they were together. And then ever since deadlifts, they got wider. And so then every time I see my dad, he's like, "Hey, did you get fatter?" But I'm like, no, my shoulders just got broader. So yeah.
I mean, someone said something similar to me a long time ago. Like an old coworker, I saw them. I think it was like 3 or 4 years later. This is like 5 years ago, and they're like, "Hey, your face is looking fuller now." And I was like, "No, what do you say? Like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm losing weight and blah blah." And she's
Oh
like, "No, no,
man.
no." She's like, your jaw looks more defined, like more like wider, like you're growing." And I was like, "Oh, I guess."
I think that's when they mean like dating in your 30s is actually the best time, as they say. I don't know. Have you heard that before? Like in your 30s is when dating is the best because now your face is matured or whatever, and you're not probably as fit or like young looking, but at least now you're set in your body by 30.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, I think that got cut off.
I'm kidding. Oh yeah, oh that's right. You cut the screen thing.
I do. Yeah.
And then for our Spotify listeners, you don't get to see my guns.
Yeah, it filled the screen. Um, we had to pan up and then down just to
Yeah.
look at 1 inch.
Um, I feel like I have heard that before about dating in your 30s is better. Uh, I mean, it worked for me. I mean, I feel
See,
like I was more successful in dating once I was like 28, 29 and moving forward. Um, whereas before, it's a lot of cringe.
it's crazy. I didn't get married till like way later. So some people they're feeling bad around like 24, 25, and I'm like, wow, just I didn't get married till I was 29. So
Dude,
at 28 or whatever. So they still have a lot of time.
my original plan was to get married at 24 or
You had a
25.
plan. Wow. Talk
That
about
like when I was
managing your life.
no, when I was a teenager, because everybody's like, "Oh, I'll be married right after like the mission and stuff like that," like, and uh, and so everybody here gets married so early, and uh, and I was like, no, that's like really young. Like, he, yeah, it just felt like it was just too young for me. But I was like, but I still want to get married young.
Yeah.
And so I was always thinking like, yeah, I'll get married at like 24, 25. That's like the perfect time. And then I hit 25 and I was like, well, I guess I'm not there yet. And my plan was to be married before 30. But honestly, the older I grew, the more okay and happy I was with not getting married before.
Yeah.
And now that I am and where I am, uh, I feel like this was like the best outcome for this universe life.
Especially, I mean, now we're talking about hobbies in life. I mean, at least I was able to, do all the single life stuff, gaming and all that, get out of the way before getting married. Because then I think if I didn't, I'd probably be like getting all cranky because I'm like, I need my gaming time, in marriage and
I
stuff like
want to
that.
play WoW.
Right? So I think there's some benefit to that because you still get to, do single stuff.
Yeah. No, you get to really enjoy your single life and just do the things that you wouldn't be able to do in your 30s.
Yeah.
Try out all the new things, figure out what you like, what you don't like. Um, and I think that's one of the reasons why my hobbies have been changing a lot is because I've been trying all these different things and finally I've gotten settled to like, well, I tried all of that and I'm glad that I did. I
Yeah.
enjoyed some of it and I
Yeah.
hated some of it. And now I'm more content with the things that I do.
Yeah.
Versus like getting married, trying to figure out life, trying to figure myself out. And
Because you don't want to bring that into marriage.
yeah,
You don't want to bring
and I know,
that.
and I know that a lot of people are good at doing that, and I'm not trying to say that anybody that got married young did it wrong.
Right.
If they're able to do it, that's freaking awesome. It's not for me, and so I'm glad that I got to live the way I did and have my 20s as a single man, and now that I'm over 30, then I get to settle down because like I feel like um, I've left all of that tryout stuff in the back in the past, and so when it comes to adjusting my time post marriage, I feel like it'll be a little bit easier, but it's still confusing.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a case by case. Y'all figure out your own system, what will work. Maybe um, maybe she'll need more like her time, so maybe you'll have twice a week or 3 times a week, or both of you will have your own time to yourselves. You might have a day where you're dedicated to like spending time with friends, and it depends on other people. Personally, for me, I like spending time with my wife, and I still need that me time, and so I have that designated day. And then if I need more, then I'll probably like renegotiate or whatever. But I mean, I like the system we have now.
Yeah, it seems like you guys. I mean, yeah, since you figure out it as you go, and like now that you're a dad, I know that you'll be adjusting again, and then as your kid grows older, you'll still be adjusting to it.
Yeah, that's the one that's really. I mean, it seems like it's good now. Like, there's not really much of a change except just an extra day where we switch it off. But yeah, once kid comes, it's gonna really change. I hope it doesn't change as much, but I'm gonna just expect that it will, so that way I don't get too cranky about the change of routines. But yeah.
So you just gotta train. You gotta teach your kid to be a good gamer. You know, to not be obsessive with the games, but just still have an enjoyable time in that way. You still get your routine in. They get to spend
Yeah,
time with
yeah.
dad and mom if she's playing, but then you make it responsible. So it's kind of like, hey, let's play. But now
Yeah,
do your
that's
chores, and then maybe we'll play again, but not till tomorrow.
yeah, and that's what we were talking about, like trying to help them to learn budgeting, uh, trying to create a system of that, and I mean maybe it'll earn them hours for gaming. I don't know. We haven't even talked about it yet, but we still have a long time. Not too worried about it. But I think
Oh, is it really a long time though?
I know, right? It's crazy because my brother, he still manages to game, but when his kids are asleep, that's when his game time is. So I guess in their marriage, it's fine where, you know, he can stay up and play while the kids are asleep. So it works for him. What sucks is that he can't play some of the more violent games in front of them. So it's like you kind of start to watch. Because I keep asking him, have you finished Last of Us 2 yet? He's like, no, I haven't had time because I've always been playing Final Fantasy 7 Remake because that's more like child appropriate. It's not like throwing F-bombs every 5 seconds. But so I think in that sense, that's something to expect too, where like maybe your taste in games will change, just like mine.
Maybe they will. I mean, I don't know, man. I've been super nostalgic with some games. Like I started playing Diablo 2 again.
You heard about the remake coming, right?
Oh, I'm definitely buying the remake. I have friends that are already waiting for it too. And same thing when you mentioned the Left 4 Dead 3 or
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood.
Yeah.
Uh, we have I have some friends that are also waiting for that game. And
Mm.
then so I started playing video games with some of my good old friends from back in the day where we used to game a lot. And because I got back into Steam, I found Age of Empires 2.
I saw.
Yeah,
I saw you that
and
notification last night that you're playing Age of
yeah.
Empires 2.
So, that game was my most favorite game growing up. I mean, it came out of like what 1998 or something like that.
Empires
And
2. Yeah. I played the first one.
I played all of them, man. I was like really into strategy games. Like I played Age of Empires, Age of Empires 2. I played StarCraft. I played Empire Earth. I played Warcraft.
Nice.
I think I barely missed out on like Warhammer. I think that's a strategy game too.
Yeah. Never
Counter
played that one.
Strike, like all of those types.
Counter
Of
Strike?
video
Isn't
games.
that a
Not Counter Strike?
Sudden
Sorry,
Strike?
it's Command and Conquer.
Oh, Command and Conquer. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Command and
Wow,
Conquer,
you play
all of
Command and
those.
Conquer. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think I still have the CDs up in my closet in my box.
Nice.
But
Did you ever get
yeah,
the
man.
remake? The remaster?
No, no, not of that one.
Hmm.
I didn't play it enough. I think that's when I was like starting to face out and started going into more of the RPG. So like Diablo 2.
Yeah.
I did play World of Warcraft for a little bit, not too long, and I
Same.
played other RPGs and stuff like that. And then I started getting into consoles, Halo, blah 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 blah. Anyway, point of my rant here is Age of Empires 2 has a definitive edition that came out 3 years ago that I didn't know about until just recently when I started playing video games again. When I was trying to play with my friends, and it was like $15, and I was like, yeah, I can spend $15 on it. Like, I looked at some comparisons, and I figured the graphics change was easy on the eyes, and I was like, yeah, I like looking at this. So I downloaded it, and I started playing the campaigns, and it's been such a ride, man. Like it's been great to be able to play like a campaign here and there,
Memory lane.
like almost, well, it's almost like one a day or so.
Oh dang! Wow.
I didn't mean to. I was just like, I'll just play here and there, but it's been almost every day. I'll play for like 30 minutes to an hour, because that's how long it takes for the campaigns to go. Uh, but yeah, it's been a good game. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Diablo 2. I mean, I went back to Zelda. I have
You got a whole
um,
library.
I have Ocarina of Time also in the back burner. Uh, I've been playing Left 4 Dead with one of my friends as well, sometimes on my own. But yeah, I'm all about the
I've
old
been
school
wanting to
stuff.
get back
So
into Left 4 Dead. I think it's a good casual game.
yeah,
You know, it's
but
not it's not
there's
like twitchy where you need to be like super fast. It's like a good chill game, I think.
well, yes and no though. And so this is one of the things that I'm not seriously. This is not like a serious note, but I'm like concerned about the future of me and my life with my family and with gaming, because Left 4 Dead has been one of my most ultimate favorite games that I've played ever since it came out. Um, a few years back, I used to play every night with my friend Dallin, and we would play well into like 1 or 2 a.m. And we went through. Hi, Kitty.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
hear.
yeah. We would play all the campaigns and all the difficulties, and we would just play the same game over and over again until we were able to beat it. Uh, what made this game fun is that as him and I were talking, just like, you know, creating rapport between good old friends.
Fancy,
Um,
okay.
right? Yeah, I get fancy with the word too. Hey, Goldie, come here. It was also a game that made me stream a lot, and
Do you
I
have a
know it's
secret
not.
streaming channel?
No,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
Twitch?
not stream, scream,
Oh, okay.
scream.
Okay.
And so, but that's the thing, is like that's what made it fun for us, is that we just kind of like let loose, and then I would get killed, or a tank would come and haunt us, and then we would just scream, and it was loud. But that's what made it fun. That's what made it more fun for me. And so I'm worried that
You're gonna
you know
wake Amber up when you're screaming.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, what if we want to play and I'm just gonna be screaming like a girl for like 2 hours straight? I'm like, am I gonna be able to do that, or do I need to like tone it down on my end? Do I need to like not play the game? uh, let's be honest, I'm gonna play the game.
That's funny because when we played, I mean, now our game right now is Resident Evil 7, and I'm just playing most time, and I scream. I scream in that game. And it was funny because when Zeke was in her belly still, like every time I scream, it would scare her because he would move in the belly.
Yeah,
So
that's
it was,
awesome.
so I think it's fine as long as she's not sleeping or something.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, Dallin's he's a married and with children as well. So I think that if we go back to playing that game, it won't be as late as it used to be. I think we're gonna have to like designate the time for that.
Yep, you will.
But I guess with that being said, I guess we'll be able to know when we're gonna be streaming for 2 hours. So I can plan on doing that when Amber is not home.
And I think that would be great because if we were to game together, right?
Yeah.
We can set a time and we know exactly every week, 7 p.m. or whatever, that we can all play together.
Wait, if or when?
I like that. When? See?
That's right.
I like those words. Words of faith right there. But I think that's the one of the beauties of like routine is that right at 7 this is gonna happen. You don't have to worry about like everyone's schedule's cleared, stuff like that. You just don't have to worry about stressing about that stuff.
That seems like routine's gonna be the new.
Yeah. The one thing you
way.
did bring something up though. Playing games now, I always play on normal. You don't have time to like get trophies. You don't have time to like let's do normal and then play again on hard mode and stuff like that. Or, like you just don't have time. Like I made in my mind, I was like, I don't want to play a game when Brittany's watching and I'm dying over and over and over because that'd be so monotonous, So at least not on easy where it's like too easy and it's boring, but at least So that's something I've found out about being married and gaming is like you can't find all the goodies or the extras and stuff like that because you don't have time for that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely don't have the time. I don't have the patience to go through a new game like that anymore, where it's got all these little things going on all over the place. It just doesn't seem even appealing to me anymore. I'm just like, I just want it a little simpler. Like some complex games that I'm willing to put the time and effort into it. You just can't make it that complicated. Like that's one of the things that I like about Zelda, is that it is a complex game, but
it can be.
It's not over complicated to figure out. Like it's super easy to figure out, and once you get it going, it's more about the game puzzles versus like trying to figure out the game itself, if that makes sense. And that's how I feel about Fortnite or some of the other games that have all sorts of buttons going on all over the screen. So
that's kind of how it was with like have you heard of Detroit?
Yes, I freaking love that game.
That game was so great. We loved it because it was we could switch controllers and then she could take a turn to play. Like you don't need to like have super complex reflexes and you're just making easy choices. But the moment we made that final choice and we ended the game, we're like, there's just no time to go back. So it's like I feel kind of bad that I don't get to see the rest of the game. Yeah. But at the same time, you're like, well, we already experienced it. There's maybe in the future we'll visit it again once we've forgotten the game and you can replay it.
I think that's a game that I would like to play again at some point. So when I finished that game, the question of it got me thinking so hard that I started asking family members, coworkers, everybody I knew. I was like, okay, you're a human and then this happens to you. What do you do? Because like it really poses it's a question of, I don't even know how to
No, I totally know what you mean.
It's a very philosophical question. And it got me super intrigued, and I think this is when I started like developing a lot of like life questions, like questions within me about my decisions and choices and stuff like that. It was a freaking game. But I mean, I take a lot of inspiration from games, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like we all take inspiration from different sources, right? But this game in particular really got me thinking, and I started asking people, I'm like, what do you do? What would you do if this was you? And that's how I know. That's how you know that that's a beautiful game. It's not just a video game. It's a story, and it makes you think. And one thing I like about that game, like besides it being simple and easy to control, is it's still complex enough that you and someone else can play together, even though it's a single player game. Sorry, that game is just like,
no, I totally, we had the same thing. We loved it. It was just like I mean, it was funny because every character we played, we played to personality. We had like a personality assigned to a person. So if we were playing this character, we would act like this person. We'd make choices like this person, you know. So it was fun that we could like it was like a co-op game.
Yeah.
And those questions, like you said, for us it was Black Mirror. Did you ever see that show?
Yeah.
Like that was the one. We loved that show. And I got in the question mode. So I was like, oh, what? How do you define a person now? Like, is that still a real person? If it's in a doll or if it's in a robot now and it acts and looks exactly like the same, is that the same person? We had conversations and it was like, it was great.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I mean, that's one of the great things that you, when you're married, you always have those back and forth conversations.
I don't have to talk to myself anymore. I have something to talk to. No, she's definitely been someone that I'm able to talk to, even about these like weird things here and there that I could just like bring up to her and just get like that second opinion. And I value her opinion a lot, and so it's been great even as a non-married man to have someone to confide in it with these types of questions and
You'll have more of that.
statements.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
so
more of that. So, is your cat dying?
she's freaked out because my door is closed. Is she really loud?
No, I just no, I can just hear her in the back.
Yeah, she doesn't like being locked out.
Man.
All right.
Any other
Well,
questions you have? Or anyone in the audience? Any questions?
yeah, we got 6 viewers.
Wow. We have about 4 minutes, well, 3 minutes now left in our stream. If you want to have any questions answered or any tips, I'm no way an expert, so I don't know if you would want to ask, but based on our experience from a married man and a soon-to-be married man as well. But for those that are here and watched, we're glad that you stuck with us and joined in our conversation. Feel free to listen to us on Spotify, and if you liked what you heard and like what we talk about, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. We do this stream every Wednesday, 7 p.m. We try, being the keyword, try to do it at 7 p.m. Most of the time it's 7:05 or 7:07.
Yeah, it varies a little bit. We make it work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody that watched this live. And we hope to see you next Wednesday. And yeah, like, subscribe, join. Do we have a join button? I don't think we have a join button.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. I haven't even looked at that.
Sponsor us. Give us money. We like money.
I need money for diapers, so
yeah, I need money for
reception.
Yeah, reception stuff.
Oh man. All right. Well, take care everybody.